right, Zach, set the tone for the whole evening, man. Show me what's on the mind of Sacramentians.
Yeah, I hope I represent well. Yeah, I'm trying. You talk about how you go back there and you watch us laugh and you enjoy that. Can you compare the feeling of also watching your daughter silence the crowd with her performance?
Oh my God, what a fucking, come here, man. It's a great question. Nobody ever, I was gonna say, hug my dick. What a great question, man. It's scary, I'll be honest with you. Every night it's scary, and I'm not just playing the crowd, I'll be extra honest. It was scary the moment somebody yelled out, "Lame" at Liv, because I'm like, oh shit, if they think that's lame, wait till the movie happens, you know? Like, and so it does make me worry about that section. I'm 25 years doing this now, so I know how to make people laugh, relatively. Don't ask the critics, they'll say I don't. But like, fucking, I've sat here and listened to audience after audience, so I know how to get them laughing. The silence area is like something I've been fucking with since the mid-90s. Like Chasing Amy was the first silence movie we did, where when you make a comedy, it's very easy to know if you're doing well or not, because if they're not laughing, you're fucked. So if they're laughing, you're like, great. When you're making something that has the feels to it and shit, when they go silent, you don't know if it's working or not. You think it is, and then there's always that possibility where somebody could just like fucking shatter the moment by yelling something right at that moment. So every night during the movie, like my asshole clenches just a little bit as we head into that scene. Now, there are things in the scene that I know that like life preservers, or what do they call when you play a video game? Save points. So there are like save points during the scene where I'm like, all right, once we get to this line, we've made it through the first third. Now I just have to get from here until Jay says, I didn't grow up with a father and I turned out fine. And she goes, no, you didn't. Like fucking that line breaks the house and shit. So at that point, I know we're okay, and then I know Fred Armisen's gonna come in a second and make everybody laugh and shit. So there's this weird like 30 to 45 second period every night where my asshole clenches and I'm like, fuck, I hope she sticks the landing. Like I hope fucking it plays for the audience. Cause that's why in the intro I'm always like, you might find yourself fucking with a moment or two, because that wasn't in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back doesn't have a beating heart, it just has a throbbing dick, that's it. So for this movie, like, you know, you are introducing like the idea of like feels in a Jay and Silent Bob movie, and not these feels, but the feels and shit. And so I get nervous that it won't play, but I'll be honest with you, it was the 37th, 38th, 39th night, 60-second show. It plays every time, and I always text her, not every night, but periodically, just to be like, God damn it, you were fucking right. Because I wasn't convinced. When she came to the set, I didn't really have a fucking plan for the character. I'd written it, but she was very two-dimensional on the page, and I was always like, well, like, Harley will fill in the blanks when she gets here and shit. And mercifully, she came to us from Quentin's movie. She did Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Yeah, good for her. She was in a good movie. She came to us from that set, and I think if she hadn't gotten to do that flick, and then I was like, all right, let's go do Jay and Silent Bob reboot, she'd have been like, oh fuck, the only person that hires me is my fucking father. But because she did that movie, because she did Quentin's movie, she came to our set like, you know, I just came from a real director's set, you know. So she was like loaded for bear. So day one on the show, we had a little fucking moment. Her day one, it was my day 3 on the show, but her day one. First time I shot with her on Reboot. And I'd worked with her before on Yoga Hosers. But on Yoga Hosers, it was more like, say it like this. It was more parroting than anything else. She went off and did Stella Adler classes for fucking 3 years and shit. And we live in the same house, so I always hear about it, but it's not like I go to her classes and check in on her and shit. And she seemed real passionate about it. And you know, she's born with a chip on her shoulder. I was born with a chip on my shoulder because I'm from New Jersey. So I've spent the rest of my life trying to prove that, like, I'm just as good as a New Yorker. You know, that's what drives me. She will spend the rest of her life proving that, like, she's worthy of this shit, whether she's my kid or not. Like, she has to deal with the nepotism tag. That's why we make fun of it in the movie, fucking left and right and shit. And she goes, I hate this guy. He forces his kid to be in everything he makes and shit like that. So she carries that nepotism tag, and that's the thing she'll fucking fight her whole life. Where I'm like I was like, kiddo, if people think that I'm responsible for you being in the movie business, they're absolutely right, because I'm responsible for you being in the fucking world, man. Like, that's the highest form of nepotism. So she went to that movie. Having that movie happen was a good fucking thing. She comes to our movie. It's day 3 for her, our day 1. And I gave a line reading at one point. Line reading is where you tell a motherfucker how to say it and shit. So we went through a take. She was great. And then I was like, kiddo, before we break, I'm going to go right back to the top. Do me a favor. I'm just going to pick up 3 lines. That one line, say it like this. And then I said it and shit. And then the second one, do this, but just add this. And then that third one, like, you said it this way, but I need you to say it like this. And like, she looked at me and she was like, all right. And you know, she hit every note and shit like that. And I was like, great, move, cut. Like, let's go watch and shit. I went behind the monitor and watched it, and she was standing there watching it with me off to the side. But like, I was sitting there like, this big smile on my face because I was getting everything I needed. And in my peripherals, I could see this shit. You know, so I was just like, hey, great, I'm great. I got everything I need, man. You good? She's like, I'm fine. I was like, all right, we're moving on, everybody, and shit. So they move on for the next thing, and I look at her, and she's still got the sour puss, and I was like, what's the matter? She's like, will you come here for a second? And she pulls me into the woods. This is the scene when the kids are, you know, when Jay wakes up with his ass in the street and shit like that. And then we meet Shan Yu and Jihad and stuff. So it's that sequence. She pulled me into those fucking woods, and she goes, you gave me a line reading. I was like, yeah. She was like, oh my God, actors hate line readings. Do you know how humiliating that was? You told me exactly how to say it like I was a fucking animal and shit. And I was like, all right, Meryl, calm the fuck down, man. Holy shit, with your first world abuse. I said, look, yeah, I gave you a line reading. I do it all the time. I said I do it to Jay all the time. There's no performance from Jay unless I give him a fucking line reading and shit. I said, you've seen how this movie works? She goes, well, I don't fucking need that and stuff like that. And I was like, well, I didn't realize, honestly. I didn't know that it would affect your sensibilities. I've been an actor from time to time, and I love it when a director gives me a line reading, because that means I know I'm gonna be in the fucking movie. So the end of day 1, I went home and my wife was just like, how did Harley do? And I was like, I think Harley acted really well. And she goes, what does that mean? And I was like, I think Harley's in a completely different movie than the rest of us. She goes, really? I was like, yeah, we're all making a fucking human cartoon. It's a fucking comedy and shit. And she's like literally acting, like she's in a fucking Coen Brothers movie or something like that. And she's going, is she right? Is it work? And I'm like, I had no other plan, so I'm just gonna go with this until fucking I think of something else. So by day 3 of her performance, I was like, oh, I fucking get it. Like, I wanted her to just be as antic as everybody else, and her reading of the script, which is probably better than my writing of the script, was that like, she needed to ground the movie. She's like, in order for anybody to give a shit, I gotta give a shit. And she's like, it really has to read that like I'm profoundly affected that I don't have a fucking dad and shit. So she grounded it and it kind of worked. She's like Marilyn in The Munsters, the one fucking human amongst everybody else and shit. And so because of that, like, we were able to go some places. I'll be honest with you, like fucking the moment in the calm, the quiet moment, like where they break up, that's my favorite scene in the movie, where the two of them break up. Number 1, my kid acting her ass off and I love her to death. Number 2, my first kid, Jason Mewes, acting his ass off. And I fucking love him to death. And it happened by accident. It did not say in the script, Jay cries, because I might as well have written Jay goes to the moon with a rocket pack. Like, there's some shit never gonna happen and whatnot. So I said that she cried. I was like, you know, Millie rolls a tear and shit like that. So we went to shoot that scene, and you know, they're really not in the same frame at the same time. I'm all about coverage and shit, masters I barely use. So we set up for it, and I said, look, Harley's got the heavy lifting in the scene. She got to roll a tear, so we're gonna start on Jay first, because that'll give Harley time to work up to the scene. And she was like, I don't need to work up to the scene. You can start on me. And I was like, well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, you don't have to give the performance that you're gonna give on camera, because you're off camera for Jay, because you don't have to give it and hold that until we're on you, and then you can give it the full emotion. She's like, I am going to give the same performance on camera as I give off camera, because I'm an actress, goddammit. And I was like, all right, Charlie, shut the fuck up, man. you stand there, we're gonna start on him, it just makes more fucking sense. So she goes and does the off camera, and we got the camera pointed right at Jay. And first it's a 2-shot, and I'm standing next to him, but when Harley comes in, we truck in over her shoulder into a tighter shot on Jay. That allows me to slip out, jump over to the monitor, and watch the scene. That's how you direct, you watch TV. So I'm sitting back there watching his performance. I'm sitting right next to Jordan. Jordan is Jason's wife. She's a producer on the movie. She produced this movie. She produces Jason's entire life and shit as his wife. She produces his child, Logan, as well. It's a great producer and stuff. So she's sitting next to me in a chair. I'm standing there and whatnot. And both of us are very deeply invested in the Jason Mewes business. You know, like I've been working with him for 25 years. I've known him for like 35. And she's been married to him for like 10, known him for 15 or whatever the fuck. So, you know, both of us way invested in Mewes, and we're watching Jason's coverage and stuff. And I'm watching it as a director and also as a friend, and also just like, he better fucking do what I said, you know, as a disciplinarian. So I'm watching the footage, and Harley off camera is doing what she does on camera. She's crying and fucking like giving a full performance and shit. And then something amazing happens. We're on Jason, and you know, I've known Jason 35 fucking years. I've seen him cry 3 times in my entire fucking life. And it's disturbing enough to remember how it begins, you know, because he's Captain Jovial, so when he cries, it's like, oh my God, like the universe ended. Like, it's just that if the clown is crying, we're all fucked, you know? So I see on the monitor, she's crying, and what we're not thinking is he has known Harley since she come out the chute, you know what I'm saying? Like, she loved Jason growing up, still does. She used to carry this flat sew pink elephant, like that was her security blanket and shit. Call it Yay forever and shit. Yay, couldn't go nowhere without Yay and shit. It wasn't until she could speak like a normal fucking human being that we understood she wasn't saying Yay, she was calling it Jay. Like, Jay was her favorite fucking person in the world and shit. So, you know, there they are on camera, and we're on him, and there she is crying off camera. And if it had been any other actress in the world, if it had been Meryl Streep, Jay would have been like, holy fuck, this old lady's crying. Someone get her a tissue and shit. Like, it would have been taken out of the moment and shit. But because it's fucking Harley, and because he's known her since she come out of the chute, she starts crying. He's not thinking it's Millie. He's like, I can't fucking watch this kid cry. And he starts fucking welling up. And me and Jordan are behind the monitor, and we both lean forward and hold hands and shit. Staring at this miracle about to happen, man. And I was like, look, it's thinking. And he did, he fucking welled up and shit, and he has that beautiful performance moment and stuff, and I was like, oh my God, cha-ching, and the scene ended, and I went over to congratulate him. I was like, oh my God, you crushed it. He was like, leave me alone, and he walked off set, because he didn't like to be emotional in front of anybody. And I went over to fucking Harley, and I was like, let me tell you something, man. I've been working with that kid 25 fucking years, directing him. I never got a performance out of him like you did tonight. And she goes, well, I did work with Quentin Tarantino. So when the silence works, I'm happy for me as the filmmaker. I'm not like, oh fuck, man, like I should have cut that out. Like, you know, that's what happens generally. If you watch the movie and see things, you're like, I could tweak that. Like, I'll tell you right now, I've seen the movie many fucking times. I watch it with people. I can tell you the shit I'd fix right now if I could go back in time. And the first one, the one that bugs me no end every fucking night, is that giant fucking fist comes through the wall, and everybody in the room is like, here it comes, man! Here comes fucking Luke Skywalker. What? Where'd he go? You know, it's the biggest case of blue balls. Just tonight, I was listening to y'all react, and downstairs, I was going like, fuck, man, I should have had Mark at least record the laugh. Because he, you know, fucking, it was here. The only reason Mark was meant to come with us, it was written for Mark and stuff. Mark Hamill played Cockknocker in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. And as you saw, we reached out to a lot of people, and they all came back and shit. And we reached out to Mark, and there was a bit of a problem, man, because there's a world of difference between 2001, when we made Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and there were no more Star Warses. And 2019, where there's nothing but fucking Star Wars. So we reached out to Mark, and we were like, you want to come back and play Cockknocker? And he was like, the Empire won't let me. So, every night, man, it's just like that fist comes through the wall and she goes, oh, fuck. And people are expecting you to cut to him or anything, and we don't. We cut out and that's it and shit. And every night for the, I think it was the third show on, I fucking turned to Jason and I was like, fuck. And he was like, what? I was like, I realized what we should have done now. We didn't want to fill the fucking role because it was Mark and shit. And so we were like, Mark's not going to do it. Like, we just won't fucking do it at all. But I said, if I had just really applied myself, like we could have pulled this off. All we had to do was send a fucking green screen back east to grab this fucking shot. I don't know the guy, but I probably could have applied myself and made it happen. Could you have imagined if the fist comes through the fucking wall, pulls back, Melissa goes, oh, fuck, and then you cut to Kevin James wearing a giant right, then all that Kevin James shit would make more sense. Fuck. So anyway, there's little moments like that and shit, but like I'm thankful that every night I don't go like, oh fuck, why did I leave that touchy-feely shit in? I'm happy for her, not just like as her dad, but just like as a performer, like in the movie, just like I'm happy for Aparna, or I'm happy for Alice, or one of the you know, Trishelle, like when they hit their moments and shit. I was so happy for her as a performer. I'm like, fuck, man, that was some difficult shit. You're given the heavy lifting of, you, be fucking serious, while everyone else is talking about dicks and assholes, you know? And she carried it, man, and that's like the sign of a good actress. I was so fucking pleased for her and stuff like that. She's, like, you know, for me, I was like, this is the best you've ever been and shit. And then she went off and did like a pilot for a freeform show. And I heard her the other day, like talking in the house, she was like, that show is hands down the best thing I've ever done. And I bobbed my head and I was like, excuse me? And she was like, you know, outside of a Kevin Smith joint. So yes, I do. As much as I love fucking to hear everyone laughing, I do love those silent moments. There's a stretch of the movie that's my favorite, and it's kind of from right before it's essentially when they go to Justice's house, right to the Ben scene. I love the whole fucking movie, don't get me wrong, but that section is like, that's my beating heart and stuff. And Ben's speech is just like fucking everything, man. So thank you for that.